Israel's bloodiest enemy, who became its first friend. When Israel declared its existence in the Middle East in 1948 and started a war with Palestine, the blood of the Muslim Arabs of the region boiled. One of the Muslim Arab countries of the region, with the support of its people, became Israel's #1 enemy. In 1956, when new warheads had just been added to the country's military fleet, their leader decided to close the Suez Canal and put pressure on Israel. Angry Israel, along with Britain and France, started the war under the command of Moshe Dayan. The army facing Israel and its allies was taken by surprise. Its new fighter planes, which had never been hit before, were destroyed in a few days, and the country was soon defeated. The country, led by Gamal Abdel Nasser, was thinking of making amends. 11 years later, in 1967, Gamal, along with 3 other Arab countries, Jordan, Iraq, and Syria, started a new war, a famous war called the Six-Day War. Before the Arabs started the war, Israel took the lead and razed the Egyptian positions to the ground. The Allies were also unable to do anything, and the case of this war was closed in 6 days. A war that became a shameful stain for the Arabs in history. The commander of the Israeli Air Force said about this incident, "The first 80 minutes of the attack were planned for 16 years. We lived with this plan, we slept with it, and we ate with it." This was the second humiliation of Egypt and Gamal Abdel Nasser, and this time more painful. Gamal resigned after this war, but the people still considered him a hero and prevented him from accepting his resignation. But he did not find another opportunity to restore the dignity of his country and the Arab community and passed away. You must have guessed by now which country we are talking about: Egypt. Now it was Anwar Sadat's turn to become the president of Egypt. Parts of Egypt's Sinai were under Israeli control, and Anwar Sadat decided to expel Israeli soldiers from Egyptian soil. 6 years later, in 1973, everything was ready for a major surprise war against Israel, until Gamal Abdel Nasser's son-in-law, Ashraf Marwan, turned out to be an Israeli spy and revealed the war plan to Israel. As a result, Egypt was surprised and defeated again. Ashraf Marwan, who is remembered as one of the greatest spies in modern history, was finally thrown from the balcony of his luxurious London home in 2007 and died. No one still knows what was behind his death. 5 years later, in 1978, Anwar Sadat, who no longer had any hope of military victory, made a historic decision: a peace treaty with Israel. He became the first Arab leader to join hands with yesterday's bloody enemy. With the signing of the Camp David Accords in the presence of Jimmy Carter, the Arab world was shocked. Many called Sadat a traitor, betrayal of Palestine, betrayal of the Arab cause, betrayal of the blood of the martyrs of the homeland. By signing this agreement, he also signed his own death warrant. After Camp David, a high-ranking Egyptian cleric issued the order to kill Anwar Sadat. 3 years later, during an army parade in the presence of the president, Lieutenant Khalid Islambuli, along with 3 others, left the parade line. While shouting the slogan, "Long live Egypt," they shot at Sadat and killed him. Later, Khalid and his companions were put on trial. He shouted in court, "I am Khalid Islambuli. I am the killer of Sadat. I am the killer of the Pharaoh. I am the killer of the tyrant in the way of Allah." They were finally sentenced to death by the signature of Hosni Mubarak, the next leader of Egypt. What was the fate of Hosni Mubarak in the end?